Welcome all. We're writing with the moon today. Really, we write, and by we, I mean my community and I, and anyone I work with, we write with the moon every day. And I'm going to show you how easy and simple it is. I'm going to screen share in a little bit and walk you through how to use my new book coming out, which is called Writing with the Moon. I'm going to say that a lot today. Those of you who do not know me, I'm an author. This is my fourth book coming out. It lands on Tuesday. And I'm a writing coach in Tampa. I've moved around quite a bit. I work with authors and entrepreneurs to help them tell their stories, whether that's in blogs and books. Before I get rolling, I do want to drop it in the chat. If you know your moon sign, drop it in there. I'd love to see what kinds of moons we have here today. Gemini, Sagittarius, Gemini, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. No idea. It's okay, Maria. It's not required to know, and you don't need to do anything with that today. Aquarius, Sagittarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Cancer, Scorpio, Cancer, Leo, Taurus. Love it. I was just curious if we had any Aries moons today, that the moon is in Aries. All right, I'm going to screen share and show you what we're going to do today. Taurus, couple Taurus moons. Love it. I'm a Pisces moon. Thanks for asking, Haley. It's so easy for me to just skip over that and not say anything. I'm a Libra sun, Aries rising, Pisces moon. So my Aries is like, let's just go. Let's just jump in. And I don't want to do a lot of other stuff, but I know that that's not always the best way. And we do need to wait in a little bit. All right, so here is the new book that is coming out on Tuesday. The ebook is available for pre-order now. There we go. I'm just going to show you the cover so you can experience it in its fullness. Very excited that this book is here. This is not going to be 90 minutes of me talking about the book. I'm going to talk through how you would use this in a practical way each day, and then we're going to jump in and do some writing or some editing. And let's see. Hopefully you can see this okay. Today, the moon is in Aries, and we're in Taurus season. I'm going to share how we will work with that when you jump in. So this is a guide that you can use every day. Now, I've been doing this process for 5 or 6 years. I started writing this book over 2 years ago. I wrote it with my community. I tested it with my community every single day for the last 2+ years. So I know it works. I do it on my own. And if you've ever had I'm going to use air quotes for writer's block because I don't believe in it. If you've ever had a block or had trouble writing, couldn't get the words out, this gets rid of all that. And I love it because it is like having 12 different writing coaches. You have a different writing coach for each day. Now, let me know in the chat with a yes if you've ever sat down to write and wondered, wow, why is this so hard today? Last week, my words just flowed and it worked great, but this week, it's a struggle. Yes, yes, yep, yep, yes, yes. It's happened to all of us. Hopefully, if you take at least one thing away, I know you're going to take a few things away today, that you do not beat yourself up for being different than you were the last time you wrote. Everything has literally changed from your last writing session. Even if you wrote yesterday, everything is different. If you are a female and have a menstrual cycle, your hormones are absolutely different, for sure. The moon is different. Planets are different. We're not getting into all the planets today. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. So this is how you would practically use the book. And I'm in PDF view, so I can't have a table of contents that links. So I'm just going to show you what is in here as a preview. When you get the book, there's 35 pages of overview. If you want that before you dive in, you absolutely don't need it. It's designed for you to jump in right away, and that's what we're doing today. And there are instructions on how to do that. So you're going to look up 3 things for each day. Sun sign, the season we're in, so we're in Taurus. The moon sign, which changes roughly every 2.5 days. Today, the moon is in Aries. And the phase, we're in the waning moon. I'm not going to read the whole section for you. That would be incredibly boring. I don't know, or maybe that would be exciting to some people. Hey, let's sit around and read a book together. I don't know, maybe that's a new kind of book club that I'm not aware of. So we are going to go to Taurus because it's Taurus season and get to know Taurus just enough to begin writing. I'm not going to read everything on this page. I'm going to give you an overview. So we're in Taurus season and we'll be here until next week. So we've been here for about 3 weeks already. We've got this groove. Taurus is an earth sign represented by the bull. Patient, steady, strong, perseveres. And Taurus is the second sign in the zodiac. Aries is the first. So Aries is the spark. The spark gets us going. The bull keeps us going, brings it down to earth. That thing that sparked, now we're ready to begin writing. So that's the energy we are working with today. Now, I specifically teach writing, working, living with the moon because the moon is our mood. It rules the bodies of water on earth. We are mostly water. Females are made more of water than men. And this is why you might notice things are different. Even if you don't know what's going on with the moon, but when you start to pay attention, you can start to connect the dots. Like you might notice when you're around today, you might notice that some of the colors that are associated with Taurus, people naturally wore today. They gravitated to them. Green, yellows, orange, browns, soft pinks. For this session, if you have any of these gems or crystals, feel free to grab some of them. If you happen to have any of these flowers just laying around, you're wearing pink. Perfect, Haley. Love that. Essential oils, if you want to work with certain essential oils for the whole season or for each day. Think of the sun sign, so Taurus right now, as the container. The sun is in Taurus, that's the container, which gives us the slow, embodied, sensory, moving slowly enough so that we can feel. And Taurus wants something real, tangible, not abstract ideas, concrete images, or anything like that. It wants the real thing that it can sink its hands into. And with Taurus, we really have an opportunity to sink into our body and trust what comes up. We are going to get grounded a little bit before we begin writing, which will be just in 5 minutes or so. And then with the moon in Aries, actually, let me go over this a little bit more before I get to Aries. Some mantras for Taurus. Feel free to use some of these as a prompt to get going today. I am going to give you 10 prompts. You don't have to write with them all, but you'll have them all as an option. I am beautiful. I am love. Keywords for Taurus. So think of this as the container. Abundance, art, blessed, calm, money, luxurious, simple, steady. Content inspiration for Taurus. So these can be themes or things that you work on or focus on for the whole month. And then there are also some tips for writing with this sign. We're not going to focus as much on this because this is the sun, and today we are jumping right in to work with the moon. If you were jumping into this book today, you would read the section for Taurus up until you get to the moon part, getting a picture there. Then you would go to Aries, which is up, because Aries is where the moon is. You would get to know Aries, and this takes 10 minutes at most when you're first getting used to this information. Once you know it, and you know where the moon is going to be, and you have a sense for how each sign feels, you can jump right in. You might take a quick skim over this, but you don't need to really sink into it. Aries is the fire, the spark, fast, instinctive, First thought, think someone that you probably all know someone, or maybe it's you, that doesn't have the brain-mouth connection and just speaks. That's Aries. Aries doesn't wait. This can actually be a really good thing for your writing, and I highly recommend writing without thinking as much as possible. And Aries can also have a little bit of urgency or impatience there, but that's fine. We can use it. We're not fighting it. So the key to working with this energy and never getting frustrated with, oh, I was so different yesterday, this was so hard, is working with the energy instead of against it. Because we're working with fire today, moving quickly, the spark, starting energy, beginning something, that's what we work with. So if you were trying to tidy something up and finish it today, it might be a little challenging. I'll talk about some of those differences in a second. A little bit about Aries, some gems. If you got some diamonds, some bloodstone, ruby, aquamarine, aqua, colors, red, scarlet, mustard. I always coordinate somehow with the moon. Like the mug I grabbed to make tea is red. I don't know if you have a mug of the day or if you dress for the weather, but I certainly do. Some flowers for the day, essential oils, cinnamon, ginger, peppermint, bergamot, clary sage, frankincense. The mantras, you can also use these as prompts if you like. I am. Aries is also focused on identity. I'm just going for it, and I'm writing this head on. Aries is symbolized by the ram. Head down, just going for it. Some keywords. You can think about these keywords, one as an option to weave into your writing or to work with the energy of this in whatever your writing project is. In a second, I'll see what you might be working on today. I started writing this book on the first day of Aries season in the true spirit of initiating things. Because the moon is in Aries, now we go to the moon section for Aries. It's not a new moon. We are in the waning phase. The waning phase is from the full moon to the next new moon. And we're actually in the balsamic phase because the new moon, the next one is happening on Saturday. So we will scroll down, or if you're in the book, you will turn the page until we get to the waning moon section. And this gives you suggestions for how to work with the day and some prompts. There are 10 prompts for each moon phase, and there's 4 moon phases for each sign. How to work with today's moon. Simplify your writing, something you've already started, with a round of edits. Say what you really wanted to say. As you review and edit your stuff today, ask yourself, is this clear? Could a 5th grader understand this? And because Aries moves quickly, you can do this really quickly without thinking. It's editing the thing back in that you may have edited it out as you were writing. If you censored yourself before you wrote, say the thing that you might not have had the courage to say the first time. Say what you want to say. Dive into an editing challenge. Like I mentioned, the ram, heads down, head first. Dive into editing something that is challenging today. If your first draft was maybe a little sweary, you might remove some of those or just sprinkle them throughout your piece so that it feels appropriate. During a waning moon, this is a great time to do some editing, focus, finish, and complete. However, since we are under an Aries moon, we have that spark. So go with that. You don't necessarily need to finish something. I mean, if you're going to finish something today, amazing. I absolutely want to hear about it. But you can start something with that Aries spark energy or finish something. Now, we have some prompts. I'm going to leave these up on the screen, and we are going to dive in and do some writing or editing. First, to get grounded and centered, because we're working with Aries and Aries is fire, we can work with this. If you have a candle handy, I'm going to invite you to light it now. And just take a second as you light it to get grounded. Look at the flame for a moment. I'm lighting mine as well. I have a patchouli soy candle here today. take a deep breath, feel your feet on the floor wherever you are. If you don't have a candle, look at a picture of one. Use whatever search engine you're using, image of a candle, and just look at a flame. Or even on YouTube if you want to watch one. Just take a second, notice the flame, even the spark from your lighter or match as you did that. If you feel called, feel free to put your hand on your chest, one on your chest and one on your belly, and take a few deep belly breaths. Just to recenter yourself so you can write. Think about the spark as the lighter. That's the Aries spark. And then Taurus, we're in Taurus season. That is the container holding the candle. I also have to tell you today, because this book was really much designed to be a jump in and start writing, this is not a book that is you have to finish this first before you can begin. I didn't prepare for this workshop, like at all. And that's not necessarily because I like flying by the seat of my pants. I did that because I didn't want to see the prompts for the day. I wanted to show you how easy it is to jump in and start working with it. So before we look at the prompts, I'd love to hear, drop it in the chat. If you know what you want to work on today, we're going to write for about 45 minutes. It can be anything. You can be here and be journaling. Carrie-Ann's working on a newsletter. Absolutely starting with some free writing is a great idea. Editing, awesome. Amy, let us know what you're editing if you're open to sharing. I'm always curious. Free writing, then blog post, free writing, newsletter you've been thinking about starting. Oh, so good. Such a great time to have that spark. Dana doesn't know. Client work weekly program. Feel free to work on client work today too. Blog edits. Think I'll do some free writing. I love that, Haley. This is similar to what we do in the Intuitive Writing Studio, the writing community I've been running for 8 years. Members show up often thinking they're going to work on one thing, and then something else comes up and they go in that direction. Always trust it. Go with that spark. Monica's doing free writing and a social media post. Roxanne has no idea. Maybe the no more overthinking prompt. Ooh, yep. Amy is editing blog posts, doing some print items you need to send off. Free writing, morning pages. Thank you, Monica. Love that you are here. Spiritually centered yogic meditative poetry. Yep, we have a few poetry writers in the community. So good. I love hearing this. For the next 45 minutes, I will set a timer and you can dive in. Invitation to work with all of these prompts. One of them, feel free to work through all of them if that's what you want to do today, or use one when something feels like a spark is happening. However you receive your intuitive downloads, notice where you feel it in your body. Where are you feeling it? Aries rules the head area, so you might feel something in your head. When you get that spark, feel free to go in that direction and use prompts as a launching point instead of to procrastinate with. A prompt, I'm also going to invite you to use pen and paper. Writing by hand first, always helpful. It slows your brain down and brings you into your body. Now, if you want to work on whatever else you're writing, like your blog posts, you're working on something else, doing it by hand, by all means, great way to do that too. If you want to start with these as a writing prompt and then jump to whatever it is you're typing, by all means, do that. I'm writing right along with you. I am not sure what I'm going to work on. This is the first time I've had a chance to get to my desk today. I have networking locally on Wednesday mornings, and then I went to the mall with my family. So I am just sitting down and getting going. I'm probably doing something book related because that is top of mind as the release is on Tuesday. Before I begin, or before we begin, actually, let's begin. If you have questions or get stuck with these prompts, let me know in the chat and we will keep you moving. And if you want to celebrate something, do that too. I'll set a timer and we'll see how it went. All right, all. Enjoy the time. So you just wrote for about 45 minutes or edited, did some morning pages, some journaling, whatever came through was perfect. I'd love for you to share in the chat if you are open to one word or one sentence. What surprised you about what came through today? Defining problems and finding solutions just by writing about stuff. Isn't that amazing? I love that, Allison. I often say, I don't know what I think about something until I've written about it. And simply by writing a problem, defining it, gives you solutions. So good. Eva, the topic surprised you. That's interesting too. I love when that happens. And so glad that you let that spark take you wherever it wanted to go instead of trying to be rigid and stick to one thing. Like I said, I was going to work on a blog, so I must do that blog. Haley says these writing prompts brought up some feisty Aries-like thoughts and feelings. That sounds very Aries-like. Hopefully you got some of those channeled out through you onto the page. I will share some tips for writing over the next couple days too, because you may have unlocked some things and I want to make sure you've got tools to keep going instead of keeping you hanging. Carrie enjoyed getting in the restful place writing. Love that. Roxanne, I thought I didn't know the rest of my story, but after handwriting from the prompts a bit, I randomly pulled it up and it all came. I love that, Roxanne. A client recently asked me, she's working on memoir, and she asked me if I had tips for remembering something. She's like, do you have tips to try to remember? I said, yeah, don't try. Counterintuitive. Hopefully, she wasn't annoyed at me. But I told her, just let go. Stop trying to grasp the memory or trying to bring it all together. And guess what happened? She remembered the next day what she was trying to get out. Wilco, a change in annotation and words of use. Today I wrote with more intent to guide my client to self-confident emotional expression. That is huge. That's a big deal. And such Aries initiating identity energy too. That's so great. Jennifer, I also came to a conclusion about something that has been bothering me for a very long time. For the first time, I was able to quantify it with words, and now it makes total sense to me. I love that, Jennifer. That's amazing. What a gift. Isn't it so interesting? This is why, one of the many, many reasons why I love writing. We bring a problem and we come to the solution by writing things. And we know that thinking doesn't get us there. Asia says, my thoughts are free flowing forward. Say that 3 times fast. That's so good. Carrion said, good focus, went deeper than I thought I would. And what I plan on sharing in a newsletter. We'll have to edit. We'll keep it short for once. No need to keep it short. I always say communicate in however many words you need to, but Aries is a direct and short communicator. If Aries were to run a race, like a running race, it would be a 5K, not a marathon. Maria says, I'm still struggling with my task, but at least I realized I want to be more authentic about the topic rather than just writing about what I think would get attention. That is also huge. Maria, if you are still struggling with this, one, I think that realization probably unlocked a lot more than you know yet. So trust that what's been unlocked will keep flowing over the next couple days. I'll talk about the energy in the next couple days too, and hopefully that'll give you a good insight into what to work with. But free writing helps for sure. Pen and paper, no filter, and or going for a walk and recording yourself talking something out. keep the transcription so you can turn that into some writing. Susanna says, I got super visceral with some of the felt sense stuff I'm writing to connect my audience to my work, and I could feel these older versions of myself who used to feel that way long ago integrate inside me in a different way. Ooh, yeah, I can totally feel that. Monica, I got my social media post completed, but didn't do any free writing yet. I'd like to do that next. That's great. And I love that there's no order, like social media first, free writing, journaling later. Cool. No rules. Love hearing that. I'm going to give you a heads up for what is coming over the next couple days. If you're writing tomorrow, same vibe as today. Moon's in Aries, still in Taurus season. So you can use those prompts again. And then Friday and Saturday, the moon's in Taurus. With the sun being in Taurus right now, we've got this energy. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we've got that vibe down. So double Taurus sky, double Earth, and we are winding down to the new moon happening Saturday. It's happening in Taurus. It's happening at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Think about the light being in the sky, the moon reflecting the sunlight back to us. It is a tiny sliver right now. There is not a lot of energy or light there. It is the time to slow down, do less, take things off your plate. And because there isn't a lot of light going on outside, it's time for us to look inside for that energy. So the next couple of days, notice what's coming up, whether you keep a journal and or record some voice memos as you go throughout your day so you can revisit them. Write down what's showing up, events happening, things, people, animals coming into your life. And the intention isn't to say, oh, this is happening. I see this. I thought this. I connected with this person. And you're actively trying to think your way there and connect the dots. Let it sit. You've probably all experienced this where the dots are connected in an instant when you weren't trying. I don't know if you've ever tried. I know it doesn't work for me. If you sit down and think, I'm going to try to connect the dots on this thing and make this thing happen, make it work. I got to figure this out. That's like gripping too tightly to something. So the next couple days on your writing, whatever it is you're working on, use this time to move slowly with it, edit what you've started, especially if you're going to do some more editing tomorrow. You might move a little slower than you would during a waxing moon or when the moon is full, because that light is not as bright as it is around those times. The light is getting dimmer. Imagine there's a dimmer switch and it's getting quieter, not as bright, it's getting darker and darker. And as that happens, we look inward for our answers, not looking outward. And I'll give you a heads up for the next couple of days. Saturday, new moon. I'm not going to get into new moon intentions in a big way here. If you do set new moon intentions, they may have a Taurus feel to them. So go over the video that I shared at the beginning, walking through the Taurus chapter, and you'll have that so you can pause it and take a look at it, look at some of the keywords, and aligning your intentions with what's showing up, what is being shown to you, not what your ego thinks it wants. Intentions are not a wish list for Santa Claus like we're 6 years old. It's what's showing up in your life and working with that, and then working with Taurus themes: money, safety, security, the voice. If you're starting something like a newsletter, such a great time to do that and setting the intention for the next moon cycle being a Taurus moon, Taurus ruling the throat, and the throat rules speaking. From our throat, we create. In the beginning was the word. Words have so much power. So that's Saturday. Sunday and Monday, the moon's in Gemini. And then we're on the other side of the waning moon. Still not a ton of energy yet, but from that point, it's waxing and the light will begin to grow. And by the end of next week, by this time next week, you might notice a lot more energy, more momentum on some of the things that have been sparked in what you're creating. I'll give you a quick rundown for the week. I share this in my paid Substack and inside the writing studio. So Sunday and Monday, Gemini, Tuesday, Wednesday, Cancer. And this is loose, by the way, not exact time. So depending on where you live, I'm in Eastern time. Your time might be a little bit different, but that's the gist of the day. Thursday and Friday, Leo moon, and then Saturday, Virgo. So like I mentioned, I've worked with this material for 2 years with my community, sharing prompts every day and giving a tip for writing with the energy of the day. Thank you so much, Christy. You read my mind. I was going to put this in there. Yes, the community is a great resource and it's a companion to the book. With that, I will segue to the book. Thank you for joining or for sharing the link in there, Christy. I truly appreciate it. It is available for pre-order now, and that is the ebook. With self-publishing, unfortunately, you can't get the paperback to do pre-order. So the pre-order or the paperback will be available on Tuesday. Ebook is available for pre-order now. So get it now or get it on Tuesday if you want to wait for the paperback. That is great. And on that page, you'll also see I'm sharing a bonus bundle for every order, no matter what version you get. So if you buy it by May 30th, I'm including a bunch of stuff. A lunar writing calendar for June. So daily moon phases, signs, and intention for each day of the month. So you can have that calendar with you and it'll help you jump into the book even faster. I'm going to give you 10 bonus prompts for each moon sign, and that will help you go deeper into what is already there in the prompts. And then a couple audio guides. The first one is the Surrendered First Draft Guide. So if you've been in the writing world for a while, you might be familiar with the term SFD, also known as shitty first draft. That was a term coined by author Anne Lamott. I do not believe your first draft or first attempt of anything is shit. It is simply unfinished. Words have power, and calling your writing shit, crap, or anything like that, no, I don't buy that. And think of the energy of that. When you use that word to describe your language, oh, that is heavy. That is not great. So, surrendered first draft. I'm going to share more about how to do that. Thanks, Susanna. I'll include the Substack about the surrendered first draft in the replay. Thank you for everyone saying that you're looking forward to the book. I appreciate that. Dana, you're putting on a calendar. Thank you. I'm so excited for you all to have it. What else am I giving you? I'm giving you a bunch of stuff. I was brainstorming things to give away, and I was thinking about one thing. I'm like, I'm just going to do all five. It's how I roll. And then an audio to walk you through getting started with the book. So it'll be similar to what we did today from day one. And then you'll be invited to a private Q&A. It'll be an hour just for readers on June 2nd at 2 o'clock. Hopefully you can come to that. You can order whichever version you prefer. And what we did today was special. The Aries moon says start or spark. And then the Taurus moon and Taurus season invites you to go deeper and ground that spark. It keeps the flame going, grounds it into something practical, bringing it to earth. Jackie, the ebook should only be available on Amazon. Yes. And then the paperback will also be available wherever you can buy books if you prefer another retailer. I can totally talk about this during the Q&A, but I want to keep us on track today. I did make sure that I launched my book during a waxing moon because I wanted the support of growing. I wanted to make sure the moon was not void of course, meaning the moon is communicating directly with other planets. If you're in the community, you know all about that. And the moon will be in Cancer. So a Cancer moon in Taurus season feels slow and watery and perfect. And also, when you've been holding on to a book for 2 years, you just want to get it done and out there and shared with the world instead of pushing it off. I almost pushed it off again last week Nope, moving forward. Even though I'm going to Universal and I had out of town visitors all weekend and I have a full client load. It's just how it's done. And I'll write more about this for sure, but I think it's also important because I really teach that writing happens as part of your life. There is no such thing as perfect conditions, 6 hour chunks of time every day to get stuff done. Life is always going to happen. So we may as well learn to work with it. So I thank you all for joining, sharing what you're working on, sharing this time with me and writing together. Really enjoyed it. You'll have my email in there, so respond to that if you have any questions. And thank you again for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.